1. All right, welcome everyone to Game Week 24 preview of American Stock FPL. I'm your co-host Barat, and I'm joined by Jason.
Welcome.
All right, so let's just get straight to how I did. Obviously, I had a poor week. I dropped from 300s. Now I'm down to 480s. My original plan was to go with Allison and get Aguero for Vardy. Unfortunately, I didn't listen to myself, and I kind of did heart overhead and picked Son. That backfired on me. Son with a clean sheet, but nothing of note. Then Vardy didn't show up big either. He had the big penalty miss. And then De Bruyne, nothing from him as well. Although Aguero did show up big on that game. Let's just move on to Jason's team.
Yeah, so it didn't quite go as well as I had hoped either. Obviously, you see all the red arrows. I'm down to about 237 overall from about 211 last week. So the main change I made to my team was I went out with Ramsdale and in with McCarthy. And then, of course, he scored 1 point, and Nick Pope sat on my bench with 12 points.
Yeah.
Same thing, I captained KDB this week. I had it between him and Salah, and I chose wrong yet again. But to take note from that match, KDB did create a lot of good chances, but he was just unlucky that no one was able to finish them off. So going forward, I still love KDB. Not off him at all. Traore, he's got sold out from a lot of managers in the previous weeks, but then he repaid my faith with 2 assists and bonus points in the last match.
Yeah, so we both had Pope on the bench. Unfortunate for us with that big 12 points, right?
Yeah, I knew Leicester was a little out of form going into the match, but it still seemed a little risky to have him in there. But what can you do?
And then you stuck with Rashford. Unfortunately, he had that injury.
Yeah, I had waited till the last possible second, but he wasn't announced as officially out by the time I could make my move, so I just did that. Obviously, now we know Rashford's going to be out for a long time, so he will be going out this week.
Yeah, for sure. It was a big... what did you think of that whole Liverpool-Manchester United match as a Man United fan?
As a Man United fan, it went about as well as it could have.
Yeah.
Which is saying a whole lot, because they have no midfield right now that you can't even play a forward pass. Antoine Martial didn't really get many chances, and that's not necessarily his fault. He did help create his own chance, and then he blazed it over the bar, unfortunately.
Yeah, he was more lively in the second half, but first half he didn't look like he stayed in the final third too much. He wasn't getting too much involved in the midfield.
No, I think he could have done better if someone could actually play a through ball to him, because he did have a few nice runs that just were not spotted or they couldn't execute properly.
Yeah, I think
for an actual number 10 to play in a system that has a number 10.
For sure, like when we were talking about earlier last week, how without Rashford, the attack just isn't the same, because there's less people to create chances for. Rashford and Martial, they linked up well together, but that's missing now.
Yeah, I think to our point last week, you should probably just jump off United at this point. It doesn't look great, and their fixtures are taking a turn for the worse, so there's not much to really hold on to there.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Traore was a big one for you, though, the 10 points. Wolves coming back.
Yeah, that's always good, especially when he's only 5.7 in price. Can't really argue with that kind of production.
For sure. All right, let's move on to more of the recap. Obviously, then we already talked about Liverpool a bit. Well, how about Leicester? With Vardy with the penalty miss?
Yeah, I think we said last week that if Leicester didn't play well against Burnley, then it might be time to sell, especially with their fixtures taking a turn for the worse.
Mm-hmm.
And that all kind of came true. So if you're holding on to guys like Vardy, Maddison, maybe even their defense, you might want to look at your alternatives at this point.
Yeah, I think it's you can stay with Vardy if you got him for cheap. But in terms of Leicester's defense, it might be time to sell if you got players like Soyuncu late, because Ndidi's been out, and you can kind of tell that they're not keeping clean sheets without the guy.
Yeah, they're a different team without him in the side.
Yeah, and then Aguero with the brace in the second half.
Yep, yeah, he's definitely stayed on fire. He was a big recommendation last week, also as a differential, with not a lot of people owning him, and he is definitely on fire right now.
Yeah, definitely a big mistake by me. I should have just listened to myself there.
Yep.
I gotta get Aguero is definitely will be someone. He's not on my team yet, but soon, right? And
yeah, hard to get him in with the double game week happening right now, but we'll find a way.
And then Bournemouth, obviously they had the loss.
Yep, yeah, we pointed them out last week as having great fixtures, but with the form they're in, we're just advising you stay away.
Yeah, exactly.
And they kind of proved it yet again. Early red card kind of threw the match off a little bit, but still.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. It was quite an athletic play. You watch it?
Yeah, it was a pretty nice handball, actually.
It was like Suarez did something similar to that, right, in the World Cup?
World Cup.
Yeah.
Except for Suarez, I think it actually paid off.
I know.
Penalty.
There was like no point. Like, what was he doing? It was early in the game.
I have to play. You have to know it's just a stupid idea.
All right, and then we already kind of talked about Man United and Rashford. We're pretty much totally off, right?
Yeah, I think there's still not like a completely firm timetable, but it's going to be at least 6 weeks. So jump off now. They're not looking good. Their fixtures are bad. Let's just let them settle in for a while. United's fixtures do take a turn for the better for the last 8 to 9 weeks, I believe. So if Rashford is back around there, then maybe we can look at reinvesting sometime down the road. But for now, let's just forget about it.
So he had like stress fractures. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think he said 2 stress fractures.
Yeah, so it's 2 vertebral stress fractures. And then some sort of a bone fragment in his ankle, right? Yeah, so that's going to be at least probably 6 weeks, just for the fractures to heal. So I don't see him coming back till at least for at least 7 more weeks. But United might have caution and do like 8 weeks. I think they said 2 to 3 months is what they said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be cautioned on all United with Rashford out. Even if Martial's leaving in line, I don't know. I don't really trust their midfield to create chances for him. Agreed?
Oh, yeah, they're terrible.
Okay.
Maybe when Pogba comes back, but I'll believe that when I see it.
And then just another quick look at the table. Obviously, the double game week, Liverpool, and then West Ham as well, but poor fixtures.
Yep, I didn't even touch West Ham, but
yeah,
your grade you can.
I don't have anyone on West Ham either. Their schedule looks terrible, like Man City and Liverpool after. Any other teams you wanted to mention here?
I think we may have called it out last week, but I'll say it again. Southampton has some pretty great fixtures coming up.
Yeah.
One thing I want to point out about Everton, they've been in great form. They have a couple of good fixtures coming up, but then after that, their schedule turns to be really tough. They got Arsenal away, followed by United at home, Chelsea away, Liverpool home, and then a quick break with Norwich away, but then they go to Leicester at home and Tottenham away. So that's going to be a pretty tough schedule. I mean, I know we love their assets. They're in form, they're well priced, but it's just a watch out down the road.
Yeah, same. And then I don't think either of us have Chelsea either right now, correct?
No, I'm off Chelsea for now.
Yeah, I'm definitely off Chelsea. They blanked, and then their future fixtures are not looking great either.
Nope.
All right, let's move on. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about Liverpool again. So we both have Trent, right? And he's essential.
Yeah, I think Trent's essential. He does most crosses in the league. Outside, I think De Bruyne is the only one who's making more chances than Trent Alexander-Arnold right now. So at a defensive spot, you have to have him.
Yeah, he's pretty much set it and forget it for the rest of the season. Liverpool again with the 7 clean sheets. Yeah.
Yeah, 7 on the bounce.
And what do you think about the Salah versus Mane, or just kind of for now, just kind of one or the other?
If you can afford both, sure, go for it. But if not, then it's still kind of a toss-up at this point. Their stats are really quite equal. They're both top of the league in basically anything you want. For me personally, I'm still going Salah. I just feel when he's in form and explosive, he has the kind of potential to really make or break a season if you captain him on the right week.
Yeah, I think I'm going to... For now, I have Mane, but I think it's a good idea with this double game week to track these guys close, see their stats, and then as we move on, you can get a better estimation of which one you want to pick. First half, Salah seemed kind of injured.
His ankle is definitely a problem for a long time, even though he was playing on it.
And now he looks healthy. So there's definitely going to be a big difference in the second half for Salah. I think this guy has a potential to be number one in the second half fantasy.
Yep.
And then Firmino, we talked last week. That was if you guys had Rashford, that's going to be your best straight swap.
Yep, and that's what I'm doing this week now that the Rashford news officially dropped. Before that match was even over, as soon as Firmino looked healthy as he was coming off, I made the change. Rashford to Firmino. Set it and forget it for the next week at least.
For sure. And then for me, I got out off of Vardy, and I'm picking up Firmino as well for him.
Yep, that's another good option. Like I said earlier, Vardy's kind of I guess the Vardy party is starting to wind down, so if you're looking for a straight swap for an elite level player, Roberto Firmino is definitely in there.
All right. And then Joe Gomez with the defense. Anything?
Yeah, he's definitely the budget option, but one thing to be aware of is possible rotation. Joel Matip was on the bench today, so he's kind of back healthy now. Lovren is supposed to be back pretty soon. So as of right now, Joe Gomez is obviously the starter, but if rotation is going to happen, he's the one who's going to be affected by it. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's a good. That's definitely something to think about. I wouldn't be. Yeah, I definitely would not be surprised if Gomez doesn't start one of these two games in the double game week. And then obviously there's the other defensive options. Do you think these guys are more solid for being starters on both games?
I think so. Yeah, it's hard to see Alisson or Van Dijk rested. Same with Robertson. Obviously, they're a little more expensive than Joe Gomez, but if you can afford them, I think that's a pretty smart way to go.
Yeah, and then if there is a rotation too, they could do it in the FA Cup match coming up instead of the double game week.
Liverpool, they're playing on Thursday. Then they have Shrewsbury on the weekend.
Oh, okay.
They play the second of the double game week during the midweek next week.
So that could easily be a way for the starters to rest.
Exactly. That's what we're hoping for.
Exactly. All right, a quick look at their watch list again. Obviously, Kun Aguero has been on top. 5 goals in 2 games. He's healthy, and it looks like he's, he played the full 90 when Jesus came on. He didn't come on for Aguero like usual.
Yep.
Right. So I'm definitely expecting this guy to shine and get plenty of playing time with Pep. If you can afford him on your team, I would do it. I'm probably going to be doing it maybe game week 30, after game week 35. I'll probably make that move for Aguero after I use Firmino for a little bit. And then last time we talked about Watford too.
Yeah, so they played Tottenham, drew 0-0. So they didn't quite get the fantasy returns we had hoped for unless you had them defensively. But they did look pretty threatening on offense. Deeney obviously missed the penalty kick, which could have been pretty big for both him and Watford. Dale Lefeu would have had the fantasy assist on that. Ismail Sarr had another nice game, no fantasy points to show for it. He did come off injured, so monitor that if you're looking at transferring him in. But it didn't look overly serious, so hopefully he'll be back for this next game week.
Right, yeah. So Sarr had 3 shots on, or at least 3 shots on goal, not necessarily on target, and then Deeney with 5 too. So they were both clear threats, and Sarr was definitely a huge threat down that wing.
Yeah, say over the last 4 game weeks, no one has more attempts than Sarr. He also has the second most big chances created and the second most big chances. So obviously he's trying to score, he's assisting, he's doing everything right now.
What about, so Watford signed Joao Pedro too. Do you think that he would come into play at all with this?
Tough to say. I'll take a wait-and-see approach on that. Kind of go from there.
And then Alex McCarthy is also on the watch list.
Yep, that was my one transfer in this week. Obviously, it didn't pan out the way I had hoped. But Southampton do have a nice fixture run coming up, and they're in good form. So I'm going to stick with that.
Jack Grealish with a big goal.
Yeah, Aston Villa, their fixtures aren't great. The team's form in general isn't great, but Grealish is just the kind of guy, he's the linchpin in the team. If they score or assist, he's probably going to be involved in some way.
Yeah, last week we talked a little bit about Brandon Williams just because of his price at 4.0. He bumped up to 4.1, but what do you think? Would you want United's defense right now?
If I took Brandon Williams, I'd be thinking of him more just as the enabler, not necessarily as a solid representative of United's defense. More just a guy who's cheap, who I know is probably going to get some kind of game time.
Yeah. And then Leandro Trossard's a new one on the watch list here.
Yeah, I probably should have had him last week with Brighton's strong fixtures coming up.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, he definitely scored in the last game week and looks like he'll be a nice midfielder to own in the next few game weeks.
For sure. He has got 1 goal and 1 assist in the last 4 appearances.
Yep.
And at a good price too. Another like budget midfielder / mid-price midfielder, you'd say.
Yep.
And then Mason Holgate from Everton, a great enabler, right?
Yeah, he has gone up in price. He's up to 4.5 now, up to 0.1 from last week. Obviously, during the game, he got the assist and got some bonus points. So he's definitely looking like a good member of that squad right now. One note on Everton, though, they have a couple nice games, but then after that, their fixture list does, take a turn for the worse, as we mentioned earlier. So just keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do. Their squad, they should be top. To me, they should be like a top 10, at least a top half Premier League team.
Yeah, they invested a lot of money in that squad, so I would definitely expect better than what we've seen so far this year.
And they got Ancelotti. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
I'm still gonna keep him even with the fixtures. I've got Calvert-Lewin, so he's a good price, and he's like he just scored. He's in good form.
Yeah, I'm holding on to Richarlison for now, waiting to hear more on his knee injury. Shouldn't be serious from what they're saying.
Yeah.
But just keep an eye on that, monitor it, have an alternative in mind just in case you need it.
And then last week we had Willian. This was more just kind of like a Chelsea attack in general almost. But then they blanked this week. Any thoughts on? We already kind of said the fixtures don't look good coming up. You agree?
Great. I still think they're better attacking than defensively for these fixtures. So if you do want to invest in Chelsea, Willian or Tammy Abraham is probably your best bet. But for me personally, I'm just going to stay away because there's so many other budget options with great fixtures or great form that I'd rather go to right now.
Yeah, they have a big game coming up against Arsenal. What do you think is going to happen with that game in fantasy-wise?
Fantasy-wise? Well, it's definitely not going to be a clean sheet for either side, I don't think.
No way, yeah. It'll be so interesting.
Scored, I'm going to guess maybe like a 2-1 kind of game, 2-2.
Yeah, I think it could be high scoring, each with at least 2 goals. Is Aubameyang back for that or no?
He'll still be suspended for that one.
Yeah. Arsenal definitely never look like they'll ever keep a clean sheet, but Arteta, like the way they're playing now is totally different.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like Pepe right now. I'm not going to invest in him yet, but he's one to keep an eye on.
Okay. All right, so just a quick recap on a checklist here. We both recommend tripling up on Liverpool.
Yep, number one priority of the week right there.
And then captain someone on Liverpool. I've got Mane right now.
Yeah, I'm going Salah. If you wanted to do someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold, I wouldn't argue with you there either.
Yeah, if you think like clean sheets, which is definitely possible, and then he's got chances for assists as well. We're both kind of getting out of Leicester and Man United.
Obviously I already transferred out Rashford. You transferred out Martial.
Yeah, and then I transferred out Vardy too.
Vardy's in the chopping block for me, but I'm not gonna take a hit to get out of anyone else right now. So for now, he stays.
Yeah, I have Soyuncu, but I had him at 4.5, so I'm just keeping him for now.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat there.
Aguero, this guy, I'm definitely going to have maybe 1 to 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I don't really have a way to get him in at this point. I probably won't next week either, but he's definitely one that I want to have. So if you do have a way to get him in, I'd probably recommend jumping on that right now.
And then we already talked about all the budget options with Watford, Brighton, Mopai, Southampton, Ings, Everton.
Yep, plenty of options there to afford guys like Sergio Aguero.
And then just last line on the last recommendations for us looking ahead. Number one, if you can afford him, Kun Aguero. He's healthy. He looks like he's playing the full 90, 2 games in a row. There's no reason why you should be, in my opinion, you shouldn't be too scared about a rotation with this guy. Number 2 would be Trossard. This guy's we already talked about 1 goal, 1 assist in the last 4 game appearances. He's averaging 0.6 shots on target and 22 penalty touches in the last 4 games. He's definitely someone I'm high on. I just don't have him on my team yet. And then I do have Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well. This guy's got 3 goals in 4 appearances. He's leading the line for Everton. He's got 27 penalty touches. And if you compare this guy to Mopai in the last 4 games, Mopai's got 0 goals but 2 assists. He's only averaging 0.9 shots on target, and he's got 28 penalty touches. Jason, yours?
First one should go without saying, but I'll mention it anyway. Liverpool, all assets.
Obviously,
even their double game week, they got strong fixtures coming up after that. I think it's going to be essential you at least have 2 Liverpool players in your team during that. Triple up if you want to keep it after the double game week. I'm not going to argue with you. Secondly, I got Danny Ings on here. Obviously, his form has been great. Scoring goals were fun. Looking a little deeper, he has the most attempts in the box over the last 4 game weeks. Top 4 most big chances, and second most shots on target. Plus, Southampton have nice fixtures coming up outside of a few bogeys here and there, so I'm going to kind of back him to keep that form up. Then third, I kind of doubled up here with Ismail Assar and Troy Deeney. It's mainly based on their form right now, because the fixtures are kind of hit and miss. So I'm just backing their incredible form right now to be why they're going to keep producing. So Sarr, most attempts for a midfielder, second most big chances created, and second most big chances. For Troy Deeney, as a striker, he has the top 4 most big chances, the most touches in the penalty box, third most shots on target, 3 goals in his last 4 games, and he's also had the most chances created for a striker. So either way, whichever one you want to take, I'm not going to argue with you. Sarr, obviously check his health before you do a transfer in, but hopefully he comes back fit and ready to go.
Okay. All right, any other thoughts on the upcoming game week? Anything you want to add?
No, I think we covered it all. I'll just say good luck, and hopefully we get some green arrows this week.
Yeah, definitely. We've both been hit with red. I got hit with red arrows 2 weeks in a row. This is terrible.
Never want that.
I just have to listen to myself more. Stop being stupid. Yeah, and then we'll be back prior to the next game week with further content. We look forward to weekly content here at American Soccer FPL. If you like what you heard, please subscribe, like, and then our comments have been enabled now. So drop a comment, questions, anything, and we'll definitely respond. All right. Ciao for now. Take care, guys.
See ya.